And joining us now, two Global Life favorites who's been with us throughout this perplexing year from Odessa, Ukraine, Dr. Hannah Shelest, Director of Security Programs at the Foreign Policy Council, Ukrainian Prism. Hello, Dr. Shelest. Thank you for joining us. And of course, the one and only international affairs analyst, Dan Perry, former Europe editor at the Associated Press. Thank you both and welcome on this New Year's special. And let's begin with perhaps a broader question. How did Zelensky transform the role of a leader, and will he remain a consensus for much longer? Dr. Shelest, let's begin with you.
First of all, definitely that is the leadership that surprised probably even Ukrainians. You know that just before the war, his ratings were not so high, and it was quite an opposition to a lot of actions that he did, including his ideas about sitting on the table with Mr. Putin, looking into his eyes and finding the peace. This year transformed him significantly, but also transformed the society approach towards him. Even the opposition parties are supporting him in this fight for the independence and sovereignty of Ukraine.
Dan Perry, how long can he keep on going?
He has managed to carve out for himself a role as a global figure of heroism of a nature that I cannot recall since Mandela. And he's done this with character and with plot. He is memorable in the way he presents himself. And the plot, of course, is that Ukraine has exceeded all expectations.
Yeah. And on the other side of the divide, maybe it's up to the West to change its working assumption that Putin's power is at stake. Is anyone other than Vladimir Putin is able to bring an end to this war, Dan Perry?
Well, Putin, on the flip side of this equation, will be remembered forevermore, not only as a butcher, but as a leader who gambled and lost. I don't think this result is what he was looking for. So when dictators lose in a manner so epic, they often come to a very bad end. No one can predict how and when his end will come.
Bad?
Yeah, and things can change. Things can turn on a dime.
To personalize it just with Mr. Putin, unfortunately, will be real underestimation of the threats that we are facing now.
I have to say, Putin may be the exception to what is generally the rule that Hannah's talking about. Because there are in history certain leaders, I won't mention them for politeness purposes, who were very much a causal factor in their country's history. And when they disappeared, the situation changed. And Putin may be one of them.
And so in this respect, what is Zelensky waiting for? What is Putin waiting for, Dan Perry?
Well, currently, their two narratives have not yet converged. Putin can't lose the war. And Zelensky has climbed up a very high ladder where he wants back all the territory. So probably more carnage will happen before these two converge, or something fundamental will change. And that fundamental change could be a shift in the leadership of either country. I would guess more likely Russia, but who knows? Or very unfortunate events on the battlefield.
Dr. Shelest?
You know, it seems to me that at least from the Ukrainian side, we are not waiting for anything, we are trying to act. In terms of the Russian Federation, we know one thing for sure. Mr. Putin is waiting for Ukrainian surrender. And if you see how his propaganda is currently working, that's really sometimes fun. His proxies started to say that, oh, next year, Odessa, Mykolaiv, and some other cities will be ours. And they are saying it just after they lost Kherson.
Well, the question is, what constitutes surrender? If Zelensky wants at some point to give Putin a face-saving way out, it's not inconceivable that that might be an end game to this.
Yes, those dichotomies will have to mend fences with one another at one way or another this coming year. Dr. Hannah Shelest, Mr. Dan Perry, happiest New Year. May the new one be one of peace, and thank you so very much for being favorites regulars here on I24 News and on Global. I thank you very much for this.